Hello, I'm Sammy Flook. I am a mindset and wellness coach from Sydney's Northern Beaches, and we are now in the clinic that I work with called Purify Essential Wellness, and that is pretty much me.
So, what is a mindset and wellness coach?
A mindfulness coach, or what I work with, is I focus on the aspect of mindset. So I help you understand your emotions and, in essence, how you show up in everyday life. So what I help you with is a set of mindfulness and actionable tools to transform every area of your life. So what it looks at, so for yourself, for myself, for everyone, we all have our own set of conditioning, our own set of beliefs, our own set of perspectives. And also this, as much as this can help us, it can also sometimes make us feel a bit stuck when we don't know how to navigate change, when we're unsure of the next steps to take. So what I help people with is kind of having that third or external perspective to see where you're standing in your own way and to create a clear path forward.
What are some tips to help surfers with competitive anxiety?
So with anything, any form of action comes from our place of belief, right? So if I look at the intention or the energy or the belief behind my action, we get really clear on where it's coming from. So is it coming from a place of fear? So when I go into fear, I'm in self-doubt, I feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not present, I'm not, respecting my needs. But if I'm really grounded and I'm aware that, I'm doing this for me, there's no expectation on the result, and I'm just focusing on those steps that I need to take next, there's a lot less pressure and there's a lot more room, not for failure, but to give it a go. Because I think that's one of the biggest things when we go into anxiety. There's usually a lot of fear behind it. We're stepping into comparison, we're judging ourselves, we're potentially doing something we don't want to be doing. I'm not saying the sport isn't what you want to be doing, but the pressure behind it is really inhibiting us from trusting ourselves. So if I have that solid foundation of me, and what I mean by that is, I have those really healthy boundaries, say when I'm about to go into a comp, to give myself that space, to not feel guilty for not hanging around my mates because I potentially feel a bit anxious. So when we go into anxiety, it's because we're trying to please everyone else, we're trying to prove, we're not actually looking after our needs. So what I talk about is having those boundaries. So that's really what I speak to with my clients. So first step is to always just breathe. What I say is pause, breathe, check in, and then authentically and respectfully respond. So what I get you to do is literally just, we can do that now. So you can breathe in for 4. Pause for 2, and then out for 4. And you just notice that you come in a little bit more. So you feel yourself getting really grounded. What is it that I need right now? I might need to step away from my mates and have some time for myself. I might need to check in with my coach. I might need to, just have some time to just breathe and center. So that's when we get really clear, but we also see how much energy that we're giving out to those people around us. And I think a lot of times when we are in stress is just a continual choice of choosing something that doesn't support you. So there are other choices, and that's the biggest thing with that. When you check in and realize, okay, what is it that you actually need right now? You get really strong on understanding there's another choice to support you. So after your breath, just really check in, and each time I say there's no such thing as good or bad, right or wrong. You learn through that experience. So let's say you reference to your last heat or your last comp, right? Okay, I can see that maybe I was with my mates too much, I was feeling a bit anxious and I didn't make time for myself. No judgment, I've got my information. What can I do differently now? So it's through that non-judgmental reflection, we get really clear on what to do differently next time. And another key thing that I always focus on is your intention is key. If my intention is to, obviously you potentially want to win, but if my intention is to just, do my best, give it a go, look after myself, there's a lot less pressure underneath it. But if my intention is to beat everyone else and to win, and if I don't, we see the fear response and we see, the mellow response. You're more in tune with your body when you're connected and you're really listening to yourself. When we're in adrenal response, there's not much oxygen in the brain. We're just trying to, keep ourselves safe and go and do, but we're not present in where we are. So when we, really have that non-negotiable practice of saying, I have that boundary, when I go into comps, it's no judgment on anyone else, but I just need to look after me. And by doing that, I'm actually being a respectful friend. Does that land for you?
How important is breathing for our surfing and everyday life?
And this was the basis of why I started, and even for me, having a past of, heightened anxiety and high depression, I could see that I was just literally always 10 steps ahead of myself and not choosing myself or putting myself first. So I always say with my clients that breath is that choice to come back to you. It centers us, it activates that vagus nerve and that central nervous system, and we're conscious. We're unconscious when we're in fight or flight. We're conscious when we're choosing. So I say that breath is you choosing you, not blocking out the noise, but just saying, I'm here. I'm aware that the world is around me, but I'm not choosing to infuse my energy into that. I'm choosing to put myself first here. So even just a couple rounds of conscious breath. So for myself, I don't do long meditations a day, but what mindfulness is and why it's so powerful, it's in essence a walking meditation. It's, it's practicing non-judgmental awareness to your present day experiences. So what I say with my clients is, when you feel yourself get heightened or overwhelmed, use that breath to connect you back to where you are. And it doesn't mean being still. So if I just focus on my breath, and what I say, I learned this from my meditation teacher. She would always say to me, repeat where you are, repeat your breath. And I said, what do you mean by that? She goes, as you breathe in, say, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. I remember thinking that was the weirdest thing, but it's in every one of my sessions now, because presence is thoughts, words and actions as one. So when you're doing that, you're really bloody powerful. So even like you said, what Mick Fanning does, it's that ritual of practice to concentrate your energy and concentrate your focus. Because a lot of times, when we're going and doing, as I said, pleasing everyone or trying to keep up, we're giving that energy away. We're not going to feel grounded and we're not going to feel focused. So that breath is that focus to really connect back in, but also, really grounds heightened emotion. And as I said, it activates that vagus nerve to really give that oxygen to the brain and really allow ourselves to function at our highest capacity.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.